புத்தாண்டு 2ஆம் நாள் அதிகாலையில் ஒரு வெள்ளை BMW வாகனம் தஞ்சோங் பகார் கடை வீட்டில் மோதியது. கார் வெடித்து தீப்பற்றியதில் காரில் பயணம் செய்த 5வரும் சம்பவ இடத்திலேயே மாண்டனர். ஓட்டுநருக்கு தெரிந்த 26 வயது பெண் ஒருவர் அவர்களுக்கு உதவி செய்ய முயன்றார். அப்போது அவருக்கு மோசமான தீக்காயங்கள் ஏற்பட்டன. சிங்கப்பூர் பொது மருத்துவமனைக்கு சுய நினைவுடன் அவர் கொண்டு செல்லப்பட்டார். இன்றைய எதிர்நீச்சல் தொடரின் முதல் நிகழ்ச்சியில நம்ம பார்க்க போற சம்பவம் 2021 நடந்த ஆக மோசமான தஞ்சோங் பகார் வாகன விபத்து. சிங்கப்பூரே சீன புத்தாண்டு விடுமுறை கழிப்புல இருந்த சமயத்துல நம்ம அனைவரையும் உலுக்கிய சம்பவம் இது. கண்ணிமைக்கும் நேரத்துல 5 உயிர்களை இழந்துட்டோம். அனைவருமே இளையர்கள். அதே விபத்துல சிக்கி தப்பி பிழைத்த ஒருவரைத்தான் நம்ம இன்னைக்கு சந்திக்க போறோம். உடம்புல 80 விழுக்காட்டுக்கும் மேல் தீக்காயங்கள், 40க்கும் மேல அறுவை சிகிச்சைகள். இவை அனைத்தையும் தாண்டி இன்றைக்கும் எதிர்நீச்சல் போட்டுக்கிட்டு இருக்காங்க ஒரு பெண். அவங்க பெயர் ரேபி ஓ.
When are you starting school?
Day after tomorrow.
Already for poly life? Okay. Let me know if you need any help.
When I first come Singapore, I think was at my age of 18. I'm here after my secondary school for my poly, and I was not having many friends here, and they are mostly from Malaysia also. So I'm actually having a hard time adapting to the Singapore environment because the culture is very different. And environment are all English speaking, so it's quite hard for me because back then in Malaysia we don't really speak English and my English is not that good. So I'm actually struggled with my school project and my grades in my school. So it gets better when I start to have more Singapore friends. So I'll start to speak English with them, practice. So it gets better after staying a while in Singapore. I try not to take monthly allowance for my family because coming to Singapore study, I feel like it's a big burden to my family. My brother is still very young and my father is a sole breadwinner and he was just a bus driver. So actually the salary wasn't like a lot to afford my living in Singapore. So I try to also sing part-time as a freelance to earn some money. Singing was always my passion since I was like 4 years old. So my mother always like push me to perform in public. So since young, I don't have like stage fright. I was already starting to sing some girl Thai in Malaysia, but I do not have the contact in Singapore yet. Until I come to Singapore, I was very lucky because one of my good friends introduced me to one of the girl Thai boss. So he decided to use me as a newbie.
யாரையும் நம்பி வாழக்கூடாது, நம்மள நாமே தான் பார்த்துக்கணும் என்பதுல ரேபி ரொம்ப தெளிவா இருந்தாங்க. பட்டய கல்வி முடிச்ச பிறகு அவங்க காப்புறுதி துறையில சேர்ந்தாங்க. அங்கதான் அவங்களுக்கு ஜானத்தனுடைய அறிமுகம் கிடைச்சது. நட்பா ஆரம்பிச்ச அவங்க உறவு பிறகு காதலா மாறும்னு அப்போ அவங்க நினைச்சு பார்க்கல.
Hello.
Hey, where are you off to this time?
Bali.
Bali, okay what?
How it started? Just like a random outing, go out to drink. Yeah, then we start talking to each other, and we find that yeah, actually very clicks. And back then we were both single, so yeah, it just happened. He's a very gentle guy. He's like, the way he spoke, the way he treat a girl, he's very gentle and very gentleman. He's a very filial son to his mother. So actually my family, they are very traditional. Jonathan's and the family's bonding is there. So that's what I want. That's what I like about him. Like, he's a very family and very kind person. So I find myself like wanting to have a family like that with him.
How long was it before you knew him and the accident that happened actually from the relationship?
We were in a relationship for 2 years, going to 3 years before the accident happened. Yeah. In the morning, we actually, he went to my place to visit my parents first. Then I went to his house to visit the parents. Then during late afternoon, we went for a charity to give out food. So after that, we went for dinner. Because it's a Chinese New Year night, we were having like some gathering and at friend's place. Then a friend was calling, "Oh, where's Jonathan? Like, faster come out lah. We are waiting for you." This kind of stuff. Then we hang out until like 4, 5 o'clock. Then they all start talking about Jonathan's new car because the car nicely parked outside of the restaurant. Then somebody decided to request to test drive the car. So it happens from there lah.
Be careful, okay?
விபத்து நடந்த தஞ்சம்பகார் சாலை பகுதியில அனுமதிக்கப்பட்ட வேக கட்டுப்பாடு மணிக்கு 50 கிலோமீட்டர். ஆனா அன்றைக்கு விபத்துக்குள்ளான வாகனம் சென்ற வேகம் மணிக்கு 180 கிலோமீட்டருக்கும் மேல. அதி வேகத்துல சென்ற வாகனம் சில கடைகள்ல மோதி தீப்பிடித்து கொண்டது. அதை பார்த்த ரேபி எப்படியாவது ஜானத்தனை காப்பாத்தணும்னு வாகனத்துக்கு விரைந்தாங்க. ஆனா துரதிர்ஷ்டவசமா அந்த முயற்சியில ரேபியின் உடலும் தீப்பிடித்தது.
Besides looking at the patient's size of burns, the depth and also where the areas of burns are, we would actually look at the breathing capacity and the lung function of the burn survivor, whether have any operations been done to graft skin over them. Once they are deemed to be stable, we would actually also range of motion, assess the strength, and also the ability for them to move out of bed or walk around the room.
妈咪就叫你不要去的这样晚，早一点回来。
So when I just came back home, I still cannot shower myself. I need my mother to help me shower and help me to change. Can you imagine at 28 years old, you still need your mother, your own mother to do that for you? I feel very bad for her. Like, it's supposed to, for me to taking care of my mother, it's not the other way around.
Occupational therapy assists burns victims to regain independence in the daily living in order for them to return back to leading a satisfying life after the injury. So for example, if they were injured on their upper limbs, the hands, then simple tasks like buttoning or zipping up their pants or making a cup of drink for their family members, they couldn't do that after the injury. So those are the tasks and the things that the skill treatments that we provide for the patients to assist them to be able to do so as they recover.
My mother is that kind of very traditional mother. She don't speak her problem with me. I don't speak my problems with her. I love her, but we are not that close, you know. So after the accident, she was with me every day and more than 12 hours every day. We are side by side each other, we are talking a lot. So this accident really brings our relationship closer and better together again. Yeah. I mean, I lost a huge part of my life. My look, my ability to sing, and my work, my loved one. I lost a lot of things. So that's why I also don't really have the chance to train for my vocal again, because I need to train my lung capacity, my stamina. If given a chance, right, if there's still people wanting to see me perform, yes, of course, I want to go back Thai singing. But I feel like now maybe it's time for me to move on, to find something else for me to do and focus based on my experience. I'm still having anxiety meeting more people. I was a very confident person, but after the accident, become very introvert, and I'm afraid of going to very crowded places. I'm afraid of people staring at me.
If you lock eyes with someone, I think you always smile and say hello if you can, right? So similarly, I think patients with visible scars or burns victim might also want others to treat them the same. So do that, and I think refrain from asking personal questions about why they wear the pressure garments or why they look the way they look. I think it applies to everybody, the same standards that you apply to burns victims.
I think it's getting better because I'm getting better already also. My friends also comes to see me a lot, accompany me, encourage me, yeah. I try not to think about the accident because it gives me anxiety. I used to be able to, watch the video posted online about it, but I can't anymore now. Yeah, I'm not sure what caused the sudden change, but now that overcome by the fear of reliving the moment I lost them in the crash, the pain hits differently now when I think about I can no longer rant or get a hug from my boyfriends after a rough day.
Basically now I think we just like to know what is the new Raby?
Actually, until today, I don't really exercise that much because I've lost a great amount of muscle mass, and I'm still having like many surgeries. Like I always have something like tissue expander in my body, like here and there. So it's better for me not to exercise to avoid accident.
Once we have the holistic picture of where and what the burn wounds are, we would actually start an exercise program that's catered to their available movement and their available breathing function that they assess based on the initial assessment. So this can include sitting them out of bed, standing, doing exercises by the bedside, or if they have to be immobile in bed, then we will actually do some bed exercises that's specific and catered to their current function.
Being a business owner, especially in like a beauty line, that's what we girls all like, right? Has always been my dream. Now my time are mostly filled up with work related to my beauty business. So I hope I can help more people who have similar experience as me. I can share with them my experience throughout my recovery journey, or lend a listening ear, because this is how I feel I can turn my injury into a greater good.
This journey, as you have highlighted, is a long journey, so they must be supported, engaged, and able to take charge and take back part of the life that they feel that they do not have now.
The healthcare team is also another group of people that you can seek support from. Ask questions if you are unsure about your treatment progress or process, and work collaboratively with the team in order to get you through the recovery road.
அந்த கோர விபத்துக்கு பிறகு ரேபி கடந்து வந்த பாதை மிகவும் கரடு முரடானது. சில நல்ல உள்ளங்கள் கொடுத்த ஊக்கமும் வெற்றி பெறணும் என்கிற அவங்களது விடாமுயற்சியும் இன்று அவங்களுக்கு தொழில் முனைவர் என்ற அடையாளத்தை கொடுத்திருக்கிறது. தனது வாழ்க்கையை அர்த்தமுள்ளதாகவும் நிறைவானதாகவும் மாற்ற ரேபி முயற்சி செஞ்சு வராங்க. நான் நஸ்ரத், இது எதிர் நீச்சல்.